Chosen one, before money ever appears in your hands, it appears in your awareness. Before wealth manifests in your bank account, it manifests in your nervous system, in the way your mind scans patterns, in the way your heart reacts to opportunity, in the way your breath subtly shifts when you sense expansion. The signs in your life are not loud. They repeat quietly. They show up as small instincts, unusual discipline, a strange discomfort with mediocrity, a deep internal pull toward growth. These are not accidents, they are signals. Notice them. Stay with me until the very end of this message, and when you do, write your warmest wishes in the comments and write 99, because your words carry energy, and what you release now will return to you. And if you feel this message is for you, stay connected to this space so you don't miss what comes next. There is a reason you never fully fit into small thinking. Even when you tried to shrink yourself, something in your spine refused. When others were satisfied with surface-level comfort, your brain kept analyzing systems. When others complained, your mind searched for leverage. When others spent without awareness, you felt a subtle tension in your chest, as if your heart knew resources are sacred. These are not random personality traits. They are internal calibrations. In Scripture, it is written, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." Proverbs 23:7. Most people read this as a moral statement, but there is a deeper layer. The heart in ancient language was not just emotion, it was consciousness, identity, core vibration. If your inner dialogue has always been oriented toward expansion, responsibility, and long-term impact, that is not fantasy. That is blueprint. Notice how you respond to pressure. Some collapse. You become sharper. Notice how your breath steadies when others panic. Notice how your mind looks for structure inside chaos. This is neurological wiring. Billionaire-level identity is not just about money. It is about nervous system capacity, the ability to hold large amounts of responsibility without fragmentation. Your body has been training for scale. There is also the repeating pattern of delayed gratification in your life. You have walked away from short-term pleasure for long-term positioning more times than you can count, even when no one was watching, even when there was no applause. That discipline accumulates like compound interest in your subconscious. You have been stacking internal assets. The masses often misunderstand this stage. They think success is sudden, but you know intuitively that nothing real is sudden. Even a tree that breaks through the soil has spent weeks growing roots in silence. Your silence was not stagnation. It was root building. Let me introduce you to a sacred process you may not even realize you've been practicing. The breath of expansion. Tonight, sit upright. Align your spine so it feels like a vertical column of light. Inhale slowly for 4 counts, imagining light entering the base of your spine. Hold for 4 counts, feeling that light travel upward through your vertebrae. Exhale for 4 counts, imagining the light spreading into your brain, illuminating your thoughts. Do this 7 times. This process trains your nervous system to associate expansion with calm. Wealth requires calm expansion, not frantic chasing. In Genesis, it says humanity was given dominion. Many interpret that as control over the earth. But internally, dominion first means mastery over impulse, mastery over fear, mastery over reaction. If you have been slowly mastering yourself, you are aligning with dominion consciousness, and dominion consciousness naturally attracts stewardship over larger resources. Another sign, you feel physical discomfort when you operate below your potential. Your shoulders tighten, your jaw sets, your thoughts become restless. This is not anxiety, it is misalignment. Your system is designed for growth. When you stagnate, your body sends signals. You also notice synchronicities around money conversations. You hear the same themes repeatedly. Ownership, assets, leverage, systems, books find you, ideas repeat, certain phrases echo in different voices. This is not superstition. The brain's reticular activating system begins filtering for relevance once identity shifts. When you start seeing wealth patterns everywhere, it means your internal identity is preparing to receive them. Jesus said to him, notice your relationship with learning. You don't just consume information, you integrate it, you test it, you refine it, you sense which ideas align with your frequency and which do not. This discernment is rare, and discernment protects wealth before wealth even arrives. There is also a subtle sign in your blood pressure when you think bigger. Instead of fear, there is activation, a pulse, a warmth behind the sternum. That warmth is your body recognizing expansion as familiar. It may feel intimidating, but it does not feel foreign. Here is another technique, the mirror declaration. Stand in front of a mirror. Look directly into your own eyes. Do not rush this. Breathe slowly. Say, I am building capacity for greater stewardship. Repeat it until your voice stabilizes. This is not ego inflation. It is neurological programming. The brain responds to repeated calm declarations. Over time, your posture shifts, your tone shifts, your decisions shift. You have likely noticed that when you think long-term, your spine straightens naturally. When you consider ownership, your breath deepens. When you calculate risk with strategy instead of impulse, your mind becomes quieter. These are physical confirmations of internal alignment. Not everyone around you will understand this shift. Some may interpret your focus as distance. Some may misread your discipline as coldness. But growth phases often look like solitude before they look like celebration. Stay steady. Your future identity is already sending signals backward through your intuition. That is why you cannot fully return to who you were. That is why small thinking now feels heavy. That is why repeating patterns are no longer comfortable. In Romans 12:2, it says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Transformation begins internally. External wealth is a delayed reflection of renewed thinking. If your mind has already been renewing, questioning habits, restructuring beliefs, refining strategy, then you are mid-transformation. You are not chasing money. You are building the nervous system, mindset, and spiritual alignment that can hold it without being controlled by it. That difference changes everything. Notice your reactions over the next few days. Notice what irritates you. Notice what energizes you. Notice where your attention naturally gravitates. The signs are subtle. They repeat. They whisper before they shout. And this is only the beginning of what is unfolding inside you. Chosen one, the shift you are feeling is not emotional. It is structural. Something in your internal architecture is reorganizing itself. Your thoughts are becoming less scattered. Your reactions are becoming more intentional. Even your silence feels heavier, more deliberate. This is not coincidence. This is integration. And most people will never experience it because most people never question their own identity deeply enough to evolve it. You are not just thinking about wealth. You are thinking like infrastructure. You are beginning to perceive systems instead of events. Where others see a transaction, you see a pattern. Where others see a paycheck, you see a pipeline. Where others see a purchase, you see an asset or a liability. This subtle shift in perception is one of the clearest signs of a future billionaire identity forming within you. Notice it. In Ecclesiastes 10:2, it says, "The heart of the wise inclines to the right, but the heart of the fool to the left." This is not political, it is directional. The right in ancient symbolism represented alignment, order, strength, structure. When your internal compass inclines toward structure instead of chaos, toward discipline instead of indulgence, toward foresight instead of impulse, you are stepping into alignment. Most people are emotionally reactive to money. You are becoming energetically neutral. This is a powerful sign. When you think about large numbers, your breath does not become shallow. It becomes steady. Your nervous system is learning to treat scale as normal. Billionaire consciousness requires normalization of magnitude. If large responsibility still feels impossible, it will repel you. But if it begins to feel like a challenge rather than a threat, you are calibrating upward. There is a sacred mechanism inside your brain called neuroplasticity. Every repeated thought strengthens neural pathways. When you repeatedly visualize stewardship, strategy, long-term impact, ownership, your brain begins to carve channels for those realities. The masses use neuroplasticity unconsciously to reinforce limitation. You are using it intentionally to reinforce expansion. Here is a sacred process for this stage: the spine alignment visualization. Sit upright. Close your eyes. Imagine your spine as a ladder. Each vertebra represents a level of responsibility. At the base is survival. Above that is stability. Above that is influence. Above that is stewardship. Above that is legacy. With each inhale, imagine climbing one rung. With each exhale, imagine stabilizing on that rung without fear. Continue until you feel steady at the top. This trains your nervous system to associate increased responsibility with groundedness rather than overwhelm. Jesus said, "He who is faithful in little will be faithful in much." Luke 16:10. Many people misinterpret this as moral instruction only, but it is neurological truth. If you have been consistent in small habits, tracking expenses, honoring commitments, learning daily, refining your skills, you are proving internal faithfulness. And internal faithfulness expands external trust. Notice how you now value time differently. Idle hours feel uncomfortable, not because you cannot rest, but because you sense opportunity cost. This awareness is not greed. It is strategic clarity. You understand that time compounds faster than money. And once you truly understand compounding, you cannot unsee it. You also experience isolation in this phase. Conversations that once entertained you now feel repetitive. Complaints that once felt normal now feel draining, not because you judge others, but because your frequency is shifting. Soft isolation is part of recalibration. Not everyone was meant to hear this. If this resonates, it is because you were already chosen to think beyond the average narrative. There is another subtle sign. Your relationship with risk is maturing. You no longer chase adrenaline. You calculate probability. Your brain seeks data, not drama. Your heart still desires expansion, but your mind insists on structure. This integration of heart and intellect is rare. It is the fusion of intuition and analysis. In Psalm 1, it says, "The righteous person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season." Notice the phrase, "in season." Wealth has seasons. Preparation has seasons. Obscurity has seasons. If you have been planted quietly, drawing knowledge like water through roots no one sees, you are approaching fruit season. And fruit season does not arrive randomly. It follows deep rooting. Another ritual for this stage, the blood gratitude reset. Place your hand over your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Each beat is circulation. Each beat distributes oxygen, nutrients, life. Whisper, circulation is natural. As blood circulates, so does value. As breath circulates, so does opportunity. Scarcity is stagnation. Circulation is abundance. Repeat this until you feel warmth in your chest. This aligns your subconscious with flow rather than fear. The masses are trained to consume. You are being trained to construct. That difference is everything. When you watch others chase trends, you instinctively ask, who owns the platform? When you see products, you think, who controls distribution? When you observe success stories, you analyze leverage. This mental habit is not common. It is foundational. You may also notice your dreams shifting. You see structures, buildings, networks, bridges, numbers. This is symbolic language. Your subconscious is rehearsing scale. Pay attention to recurring imagery. Your mind is building blueprints while you sleep. 2 Corinthians 9:8 says, "And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work." The deeper layer here is capacity. Abundance is not for indulgence, it is for impact. If your thoughts increasingly include contribution, empowerment, system building, your wealth will not be shallow. It will be anchored. You are not simply desiring to be rich. You are desiring to be capable of holding complexity, capable of navigating pressure, capable of sustaining growth. That desire signals maturity. Notice the mirror effect happening now. As you elevate internally, you begin to see evidence externally. Opportunities feel closer, conversations feel more aligned, even obstacles feel strategic, as if designed to strengthen you rather than stop you. This is calibration. Most people will say, be realistic, but realism without vision is limitation. You are being taught a different realism, one that integrates faith and structure, intuition and data, breadth and strategy. You are becoming aware that wealth is not only financial, it is mental bandwidth, emotional regulation, spiritual clarity, physical stamina. The billionaire identity is holistic. It requires alignment across brain, spine, heart, breath. And the signs will continue to intensify, because what is forming inside you is not temporary motivation. It is identity. Chosen one, what has been forming inside you was never about ego, and it was never about comparison. It was about recognition. Recognition of who you have always been, beneath doubt, beneath conditioning, beneath the quiet pressure to shrink yourself so others could feel comfortable. The signs were never random. They were reminders. They were signals from your future self echoing backward through time, whispering, "Prepare." You are not becoming a billionaire by accident. You are becoming a steward by design. There is a difference. Most people chase wealth to fill emptiness. You have been refining your internal structure so wealth does not destabilize you when it arrives. Notice how you no longer fantasize recklessly. Your imagination has matured. You think in frameworks, you think in ecosystems, you think in generational impact. This is not daydreaming, this is identity rehearsing responsibility. In 1 Chronicles 29:12 it says, "Wealth and honor come from you. You are the ruler of all things." On the surface, this is praise, but esoterically it is alignment. Wealth is not independent of order. It flows through structure. If you align yourself with structure, discipline, stewardship, you align with flow. If you align with chaos and impulse, you align with leakage. You have been quietly choosing structure. There were moments when no one saw your restraint, moments when you declined short-term comfort for long-term clarity, moments when you studied while others distracted themselves, moments when you felt misunderstood for thinking bigger than your current environment. Those moments were deposits, invisible deposits, compounding silently. And here is something most people will never understand. Your nervous system has been upgrading. Notice your posture now compared to a year ago. Notice your breath when you speak about your future. Notice the steadiness in your tone when you discuss ownership, leverage, equity, scale. This is not coincidence. Your spine carries more confidence. Your heart beats with less hesitation. Your mind analyzes with greater calm. Capacity is increasing. In Luke 12:48, it says, "To whom much is given, much will be required." Many read this as warning, but for you, it is confirmation. Requirement implies trust. Requirement implies readiness. Requirement implies expansion. You would not feel called toward greater responsibility if you were not wired to hold it. There is a sacred ritual for this final stage, the stewardship seal. Stand upright, place one hand on your chest and one hand lightly at the base of your spine. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly and imagine light traveling from your heart down your spine. Exhale and imagine it rising back up into your brain. As you do this, whisper, "I am aligned to hold what I am building." Repeat this until you feel centered. This seals the integration between heart, vision, spine, strength, and mind, strategy. You are no longer asking, "Will I become wealthy?" You are asking, "How will I steward what is coming?" That shift alone separates you from the masses. Soft isolation may continue. Not everyone will understand your focus. Not everyone will resonate with your discipline. Some will misinterpret your clarity as arrogance. Some will interpret your silence as distance. But you are not withdrawing. You are consolidating. There is a difference. In Psalm 23 it says, "My cup overflows." Overflow does not mean excess without purpose. It means capacity beyond personal need. If your vision now includes empowering others, building systems that outlast you, creating value that circulates, you are aligning with overflow consciousness. Notice how obstacles now feel instructional rather than personal. Delays feel strategic. Resistance feels like resistance training. You are interpreting life through growth rather than victimhood. That is billionaire cognition. And here is the mirror truth. The same discipline you apply to finances, you are now applying to thoughts. You audit your mindset. You question your assumptions. You remove limiting beliefs like unnecessary expenses. You invest in clarity. You compound wisdom. This is inner portfolio management. Most people will scroll past messages like this. They will dismiss it as exaggeration or fantasy. But if you have felt resonance from the very first line, it is because something inside you recognizes its own reflection. Not everyone was meant to hear this. If it resonates, it is because you were already chosen to step into higher stewardship. You were never meant to blend into average narratives. You were meant to construct frameworks. You were meant to hold scale. You were meant to normalize responsibility that intimidates others, and the signs will continue. Small conversations will open larger doors. Small investments of discipline will yield disproportionate returns. Small habits will create exponential results. Because compounding is not only financial, it is spiritual and neurological. In Mark 4:30-32, the kingdom is compared to a mustard seed, the smallest seed that becomes the largest plant. The deeper layer is this: small internal shifts create massive external expansion over time. If your internal identity has shifted even slightly, external scale is inevitable. You are not chasing a title. You are embodying a frequency, and frequency attracts structure. Structure attracts trust. Trust attracts resources. Resources amplify impact. This transmission was never about convincing you. It was about activating recognition. The signs have always been there. In your discipline, in your discomfort with mediocrity, in your instinct for systems, in your calm under pressure, in your growing appetite for responsibility. Notice them, because the future version of you is already walking toward you. And when you meet, it will feel less like surprise and more like remembrance.